you ever dream of being covered in Coleman's English mustard? I must admit, I do. Often.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Do you ever dream of being covered in Coleman's English mustard? Proud to announce a new sponsor for the stream. Coleman's finest English mustard. Buy yours using the link below. No, I'm joking, I don't even fucking like mustard. But that's what I get for being a cheapskate and not upgrading to YouTube Prime. Or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm such a boomer I don't even know what the fuck it is. How's everyone doing? How are we all this wonderful evening? Bitcoin D up, alts feel heavy. Yes. It's been a bit of a weird one in terms of, if you look at today, good old daddy BTC showing the way. And if anyone wonders what I'm doing, it is looking at the percentage distribution above and below BTC. And if you go back to the last dip, which is what this shows you, it's to your point. Crypto Miguel, that yeah, Bitcoin D is given alts the D, so to speak. And a couple of alts outperforming, obviously, like Mu, JTO, etc. Litecoin on the announcement of the Litecoin potential ETF, all of that wonderful stuff. But fuck me, Litecoin is a retrograde piece of turbo shit. But it was good for payments back in 2017, right? Yeah, what a day. What a day in terms of monumental run up. Absolutely rip the shit out of everyone. And then fuck off to Valhalla anyway. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I'm long in this consolidation here. So, it better fucking do. Yeah, how's everyone doing? I will give you coin recommendations because you're my friend. Buy GME coins so you can retire like me. This is the next SPX and 69000 on life. Please do look at weekly. I'll tell you what, I will take a peep at that in uno momento, my friend. We will look at some low cap shitters if you boys want. I don't care anymore, like in terms of looking at coins, This isn't financial advice, this is educational purposes only, yada yada yada. Don't be a fucking idiot. I'm an anonymous cartoon character at the end of the day that you're watching on the internet. Not your financial advisor, etc. etc. So, yes, I trust that you are all grown up enough to not go, oh look, there's a chart on the screen. Bang, that's ate my entire life savings. Oh, I went to zero. Oh, now I'm fucked. And on the streets. Is this the one you're on about, brother? GME at GameStop. Unironically, watched the thing of that the other week with my wife. I was like, yeah, I was there watching all of this happen in real time. The old Roaring Kitty stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's like any low cap shitter, right? Like, it's not bad in terms of where it is from like a weekly perspective, like pretty high time frame pivot. You're basically wrong anywhere like under here, but obviously that in terms of drawdown, whilst it looks really fucking obvious on a chart like this, firstly, well, 3.5 million in liquidity, nice. But yeah, I mean, you're structuring something like this, aren't you, basically, and maybe aiming for much, much, much higher. What was the all-time high market cap? I mean, yeah, if you caught that narrative, if that narrative catches on in terms of like this massive open short interest on it, which, yeah, you need to go look at the perps and stuff, then yeah, like maybe people replicate it, maybe people don't. Who knows? How'd you get the latest spaghetti? Just copy that. I'll chuck it in the stream thing. Give me 1 second. Because for some reason I can't see my own chat. If I hear my own voice, I'm going to cringe. Bosh, there we go. Cool, there we go. Oh, look, we've got a question from someone sidelined already. Let's go. Moises Rivas. how would you get in when Bitcoin and ETH are going all-time high? How would you get in? Oh, you probably get chopped up a little bit. So yeah, there's the latest spaghetti for you, Empiron. And yes, we are so back. My brother Bahamas, it's been a while. Yeah, so I'm long in this consolidation, purely like a rotational basis. I wanted something, like my outlook for the week basically said, I would long a reclaim of this range in here, and something like this, which is exactly what we've got here. This breakout was just, it was, well, firstly, it was done while I was asleep. I was looking at this range as a range essentially, and we broke out, lovely. I played a rotation on Nero today, the Nero CTO one, but it wasn't with big size, to be honest with you. And it literally ran up. I closed most of it, and then it went fucking boom. And yeah, like this is nice in terms of volatility and in terms of the move. A little low time frame range, and hopefully you can probably see my thesis as to why I started plugging it along here. Purely because it was in the previous consolidation. We had the move up, we baited all the stops. And now, it just reminds me of the move we had before in terms of, what was it? Was it the coin? It was the fake ETF announcement, the ETF one, which was like a year ago today as well. Just like bizarre price action in terms of fake out, do that, and then just fucking run anyway. But it's not just because of that, right? It's not just because of some meme bullshit. It's just the fact that actually, if you start looking at this, from a technical perspective, take some of this out, and you look at this kind of range here, like it kind of coincides perfectly with a range high breakout and a little consolidation before we do so, after punishing everybody from a price action perspective. And the reason I didn't go balls deep on alts is because when we had that, let me just get my timings right because I always get this wrong. Is a lot of the alts that were moving whenever it was back here were not particularly wonderful in terms of their relative strength. And we have, as someone rightly pointed out in the chat, had a real shift in terms of Bitcoin dominance. And I feel like this is kind of only going to get a bit stronger, particularly as Bitcoin heads closer to all-time highs, and hopefully we get that rotation in terms of the money in Bitcoin, rolls up, Bitcoin ramps out, breaks out all-time highs, we get a Bitcoin frenzy on the go, and then some of that trickles into alts. So when that starts trickling into alts, absolutely wonderful, but until then, you kind of have to assume that it's going to be a predominantly Bitcoin-denominated market, which is why I aped the trade. And Spaghetti tells you that, right? Spaghetti tells you that in terms of even like rotations, I think we're going to start moving a bit on stuff like Mog and whatever now, but really not on Mew. That's the one, not Mog. What am I about? Yeah. Oh, Mog and Mew, so there we go. Either one was right. Classic paid group leader bullshit, isn't it? I was right either way. But yeah, I've definitely taken a riskier trade on Bitcoin, and obviously the original trade that I had, which was way back down here, I think. Was it here? Yeah, I think it was here and got stopped like by fractions of a penny. But it is what it is. All I'm looking at the moment really is this magic line, which I think is just one line to kind of just say like how exposed do you want to be to the market. Like we've had this range and consolidation for a long time, right? And I'm not saying it can't pull back and it can't go under here and it can't do whatever. The market does whatever the fuck it wants, right? Russia launches a missile tomorrow. Fuck me, it's going to 56k. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not fuck around. But in terms of like probability, the probability that we do what? How far are we away from all-time highs now? Like we're kind of a 10% move away from all-time highs, which is actually wild to think about. And the euphoria and foray, and as soon as it starts moving, like we all know that Bitcoin is this monumental machine in terms of psychological attention, right? As soon as it starts get going, start to get going, you get the story of Dave down the road turned $100 into 50,000. Everyone wants to start piling in. You've been banging on about it for months and months and months. And, you know, somewhere up here, everyone and their dog wants to buy Bitcoin. And that's when you start, you know, unloading it helpfully onto their heads. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild to think that we're kind of 10% away from all-time highs. I might tweet that and get some nice, you know, engagement bait on the go. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see any reason to not be bullish, both from a market structure perspective. We've got a series of, you know, higher lows here and here. We've just breached the former high here. So, you know, even if you print a higher low here, it's still trend continuation from a market structure perspective. Like, everything tells me to just stay bullish for now. And if that starts changing, then it changes. But I will always try and take trades in the direction of the trend predominantly, and only when I've got very clean signals in terms of divergences at extremes or, you know, big signs of weakness in terms of low time frame market structure, or, you know, big breakouts and retests into ranges, will I ever bother like trying to fade a trend, because it's just fucking pointless in my view. The easier trades, I think, are to the long side. Even if it means you take 1 or 2 L's and, you know, we end up doing this, whatever, I'd much rather have done that than it do this, be the easiest trading conditions probably of your life ever again, and miss what could be quite a, you know, decent opportunity. As long as it's obviously risk managed. I'm not saying fucking bet the house. I'm not saying load up 100x leverage. I'm not saying any of that, right? You know, think months and years, not seconds and hours and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin for the reasons I've outlaid. Like, I don't think there's any real reason to be anything but, to be honest, particularly with how it's behaved today. If we start, you know, failing to push this high and pull back down here, you know, whatever, I take a bit of pain, but yeah, might close it down there and just try again another time. You know, not a problem. But I think that's to get to the question of what you do if you're sidelined, right? Like, this is typically the case when you are up here, right? And I say that because I did it the other day. This is not a shill because I obviously don't own any of this. Let me find the chart. And it is a low cap shitter. It is relatively liquid. Blah blah blah. So just, you know, bear with me. But I wanna use it to illustrate the point. Someone sent me this. One of my friends sent me this at 120k market cap or something. It was literally down here. And I was just like, mate, I don't think I've even got any fucking funds on Aptos. Can't be asked, right? And it ran from like 120k market cap, which I actually think was, you know, it must have been like, let's have a look on a market cap basis. It was so like early that, you know, it's absolutely wild. Okay, yeah, it was there. So like, even just like $1,000 in there, you're looking at like 100 grand return, which, to be honest, I wouldn't have put $1,000. I probably would have put more, because if you're that early stuff, you know, it's just worth the risk. Either goes to zero or it runs. But, you know, I was like, nah, I can't even be asked if I can bridge funds over, yada yada. And you get up to here and you start thinking, shit, maybe this is going to 100 million market cap. Like, this is absolutely wild. Think, maybe I should start bridging. I'm like, Charlie boy, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is classic FOMO, right? This is because you had the trade opportunity down here to buy it, and you didn't, because the risk was too high, right? You didn't think, and you, well, actually, largely because you couldn't be bothered to, what's it called, bridge over to Aptos. But now it's attractive up here, and now it's back down here. Now, I'm certainly not saying ape into this at all. I do not have a bag. This is not an endorsement. It's just a story of like how, I guess, even someone who sat in front of this market for what, 7 years now, occasionally feels FOMO and like, oh, maybe this is going to 100 million. Maybe I should stick a decent bag in here, as opposed to, you know, can't be asked to bridge, too much fucking effort. But equally, it's now down like 80%. So I think one of the things that like you're gonna feel is there's like never a time to act. Like you can't jump on board this. You can't. You've missed the run. You've missed the greatest bull run of all time. Like stop for just 1 minute and look at this chart. Right. Look at what Bitcoin does after like decent consolidations. Right. And understand that if this is like, if we do get a breakout, which we haven't even fucking got yet, right? This is not like a holy shit bears are fucked like breakout, right? The holy shit bears are fucked probably happens after one push around all-time highs, and we do something like that just to cuck out all the fucking over leveraged retards that are gonna like mass long at 70, whatever the high is, like 74k. They're gonna fucking turbo pile in, and then we're gonna fucking slam them back down, and then we'll run it turbo, right? And like, this is one area where I think any form of consolidation, you can play the breakout trade as long as it's not with 100x leverage, right? But that's an area that you want to look to jump in at. If you're obviously Sideline Capital LLC. The other is down here, if we get a pullback down here, right? Like, just because we've had a really good move today doesn't mean it's not going to pull back. Or even a consolidation like here. If we pull back, retest this, and just keep that structure, just look for some simple plays, some simple reasons with simple validation to get on board, and just play the trend until it stops. Like, I don't know, like, a lot of people seem to think that because a lot of people are euphoric on Twitter because they finally caught a trade and made one work, that this is now the golden bull run and this is the start of it. But genuinely, if you are sat sideline, there's going to be lots of opportunities to get on board. This might even be the local top, right? You didn't know that it was the bottom down here. You don't know that it's the top or bottom here. Also, you know, local top here or whatever. Is my point. OpenSea Pepe in discussion. Yeah, well, come on. 8 layout view. Yeah, we'll do that. Pumping into the 1 year anniversary of Cointelegraph intern. Yeah, it's actually amazing that, isn't it? When you really think about what that is, like absolutely wild. Grand Rising Trash Panda. Grand Rising, my brother. What's the greatest lesson you took from the last bull run? This one might not be appropriate to most of you, but don't do a calculation of your vested investments. Genuinely, probably the greatest lesson that I took, because you're sat there going, "Fuck me, I'm a billionaire," and then in like 5 months' time, you're like, "Fuck me, HMRC owes me money." Not quite that, obviously, but yeah, it's fucking wild when you've got like big sums of money that you can't touch. So this time I just did not give a flying fuck. Obviously in a different position, but you invest your money, you get out what you get out when you get it. It just is what it is type thing. Yeah, thanks, bro. Just feeling a bit of FOMO, long like Sunday, and just feel like I closed it a bit early. I mean, yeah, you're going to, right? You're going to close everything early. Like, I was streaming. I'll tell you guys this because, you know, I'm pretty transparent with all my stuff. I like to think. I was streaming last Thursday, right? In the Paragon group. 7 o'clock is my stream time, usually on a Thursday evening, because it suits me. I think that suits a lot of other people in terms of you know, where they are. And we literally got this, right? And I was down here and I was struggling to kind of keep up with everything in terms of like the chat and Discord and all that kind of stuff. And I literally went like, this is an insane sell-off. Like, look at the high time frame structure, look at this, and I literally said, this is the start of a rotation here, right? It was like the first high low on a fucking 1 minute candle after basically a cascade, and it was this, and it's like, this is where to long stuff. And I wasn't trading. I didn't really want to hold things into the night. I had like stuff to do in the morning and yada yada yada. So excuses. But I literally said, this is like not the bottom, as in like for the entire market, but this is the bottom of a rotation. And sure enough, like, we have not gone back to fucking retest it. And I also had my ridiculous 4 4 billion R trade or whatever it was long from here. I think my stop was something like this. And like literally stopped on that wick, you know, even just a relong the range reclaim, which is one of my favorite setups in these kind of conditions. It's simple, it's trend following, it gives you an invalidation. Yeah, like, so like instead of that, do this, right? Yeah, you've had a big wick, you've taken all that liquidity down here. Everyone who was long from down here, absolutely fucked now. And then you start running it forward, and well, we know how it ends, don't we? Like, you know, and obviously the target for that was genuinely like, I don't know, it was 100k or maybe it was 98 or something. But my point being that like I did not play that perfectly at all, even though my plans were perfect. Even my live commentary of it was perfect. I just didn't have the balls to like trade it while I was trying to do my educational stuff. And that was like literally here. So, you know, do I feel FOMO and regret about that? Well, sure, I should have just gone, fuck it, even if I do half size or a third size, which is what I normally do, right? I'll rein stuff down a little bit if I'm either not feeling trading or I'm busy with other things or whatever the thing might be. You can always get some exposure. But do I really give a shit? Nah, not really. Like, there's going to be another trade. There's going to be another opportunity. Did I miss, you know, X% on Bitcoin? Yeah. Did I miss Y% on some alts? Yeah. Have I traded some rotations between then? Yeah, absolutely. Am I long Bitcoin again? Much higher up? Yeah. So what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, I think that's the thing, is like most people like just envisage trading as probably this, right? Like, I should have known that was coming, and obviously it was going to stop there, and then obviously I'm going to long this, and you know, because that's the break in structure, that's the change of, because everything looks so obvious in hindsight, right? And that wick would have been where to take profit, because yeah, you know, this is what most people think it's like. The reality of it for me anyway is it's much more like, all right, well I'll try this long here. Oh, that failed. Okay, well fuck it. I'll long further down, or I'll wait for something to happen and I'll take that long. That might not work, and then I'll try a reclaim, and sure enough, that's the one that fucking runs. But you know, they're all sort of decent RR, so I obviously structured that a little bit badly, but you know, decent enough to cover the fact that my win rate might not be absurd. Does that make sense? Like, I just think that a lot of people put so much pressure on themselves to be in every trade at every point in time, because you're subjected to social media 24/7 and everybody fucking winning. Right? All of the time. So there's a lot of psychological stuff in there to kind of dissect, I guess. But yeah, like, chill out. There's another trade. Even if it's in 3 weeks' time, like, just enjoy the volatility while it's there, genuinely. Nice to watch you. Cheers, Bubba Trading 9. Thanks, bro. Just feeling a bit of FOMO. Yeah, oh, sorry, I covered that comment. Yeah, good morning, Kevin. Yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to feel FOMO, right? Especially when everyone's flexing their longs, and we got people betting each other money on the timeline, or what hits for 60k or 67 or whatever the fuck the bet is. I don't really care. You know, just there's probably some massive edge in just turning off Twitter and the noise and just staring at the fucking chart that's in front of you. And just switching all that bullshit off. Like, how much alpha do you actually get from Twitter? I'll tell you how much I get from Twitter these days. Fucking zero. I chat to people who are smart, who I respect, who I met through Twitter. Inevitably. But very rarely do I see a post on Twitter and think, right, well, I'm going to go buy that, or I'm going to sell that, or I'm going to... It doesn't cause any action for me. It helps me dial into the sentiment of people a little bit. You know, are we all exuberantly bullish? You know, I saw so many takes today that's like, holy fuck, bears are fucked. This is unbelievable. What a fucking wild market. Like, my brother in Christ. We are up a few percentage points. Whilst I agree that it is good overall, you know, we're up 8% in a few days. Let's dial it back. Let's play patiently. Let's wait for opportunities. Let's let them fucking come to us. It's much easier to do that than try to chase every move. At your learning years, was there a moment where you quit or think about if it's really for you? Man, someone asked me that the other day. It wasn't you, was it? Are you trying to tell me something? Should I quit? uh, there were times where, yeah, you'd go through losing streaks and it would affect you mentally. If any of you were paying attention to my challenge account that I started running up when it was quote unquote impossible to trade and I haven't touched since, um, you know, I actually took a losing streak of 6 losses in a row, and it's pretty mentally straining to go, oh, I'm shit, 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 oh, I'm shit. Fuck. This is like, I started the day with, I can't remember what it was. I started the day with like $15,000, let's say, and I ran it down to like 13,000 or something, or maybe it was like 12,000. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, I've just literally run this account down from 10 to 15 to 12. Like, what a fucking idiot, man. Jesus Christ. And the next trade, it was like that. Higher, lower net worth. Absolutely fine. Like, but doing that berating and going, was this like the best thing I do is this trade good? Yeah. Was this trade good? Yeah. Was this trade good? You could have executed a little bit better. Was this trade good? Yeah. That one? Yeah. That one? Yeah. They didn't all fucking work, but when it did work, bosh, off it paid. So did I think about giving up? Probably, but I never wanted to give up ever. Not to the point where I was like, saying to the wife, "Oh, this isn't for me." I'd take breaks. I'd walk away from the PC for a little bit. I'd do other things, but I don't think there's anything quite like trading, right? There's nothing quite like loading up a chart, flicking some lines on it, and deciding whether you're going to buy or sell the future of finance. Yeah. Did you change your daily routine when you switched to risk on off? Yeah, massively. Like, I've been much less active over probably the past 4 or 5 months, as opposed to even back here. Like back here, I hardly got any sleep. Like during this run up, right, I was probably overcommitted to the market, right? And the reason was really simple. The conditions were fucking wild. The amount of money that I could print out of thin air on a daily basis, consistently was worth it. And then as when I shorted 72 or whatever, that's basically when it changed. And I was like, do you know what? I don't need to be here all day, every day. Not that I need to be there anyway, but like, I don't want to be so constrained by a market that is not as fruitful as it was, in this kind of condition, this ranging condition versus this trending condition. So my risk appetite here was much higher, here much lower, and my risk limits generally on trades smaller in these kind of conditions. Doc's mantra of impatience is expensive has helped me tremendously. Yeah, I think that whole philosophy of if you're not patient, I heard something that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube, but it's a quote. The market rapes the impatient, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And I was just like, when you think about it, it kind of is right. Like that's who really feeds the market, is people who can't wait for a pullback, who can't wait for a setup that has clean and validation or a reason to get long, some form of high time frame relative strength, a decent like outlayer, anything like reclaim of a decent level, like who knows what it is, whatever your personal triggers are. We're starting to actually see a little bit of loss of momentum here. Maybe we're not grinding up quite like I'd like. I'd like it just to have run, but whatever. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, we've probably got a lot of FOMO longers up here. Like, and we see that quite a lot in terms of you get the run. So I draw it in the group occasionally, and everyone laughs because it's the classic Charlie giraffe pattern, which is it runs, it consolidates, it runs again, and that's kind of like your little giraffe, right? And I know that sounds really stupid. It's because it is. But then when you get the wick up here, it doesn't really do much because everyone's so kind of focused on it and just you get that turbo chop, and it happens a lot on alts. Looks like it's probably going to happen on BTC, so I'll probably end up round tripping / closing down here, taking either a small win or a small loss, and then I'll look for the next entry point, and that's it. Another trade, survive another day, not wildly balls deep on 1000x leverage. Are there any non-KYC exchanges anymore, Charlie? I mean, I've never really had a problem with the whole KYC thing. Like, I genuinely just want to come here, do my stuff, pay my taxes, do my dues. And I just think, like, for the sakes of going to sleep at night. Yeah. Do you think Bitcoin is at a dangerous resistance right now? So if you look at it from a daily perspective, yeah, I kind of agree with you that like we're at a kind of pivotal point in terms of like depends how you draw it, which is always the key. If you go on something like Renko, I was talking about Renko the other day actually in the group. Might even be cleaner on this. Nah, not really. Still a bit choppy, isn't it, in terms of like where do you draw your pivot points? But yeah, the point being, if you aim a little higher, like here, and you take into account like, let's go daily. Like this consolidation here, this up here. Yeah, it's not great, which is why I like low time frame ranges, because a low time frame range, like even like I was down on the 1 minute obviously because I'm a fucking degenerate gambler earlier, and looking at apologies, and looking at this range, let's just leave that. This and this consolidation up here, after a big move, I'm gonna bet that it's gonna go up because we've literally juked both sides. Like that's enough for me. Like this is why I always think it's bizarre how people say you should either trade low time frames or high time frames. I completely disagree. I think low time frames are much easier to enter on, and high time frames are much easier to predict in terms of like you can be directionally right and say, yeah, I think it's going to go up over a period of time, right, based off like 4-hour daily market structure, EMAs, whatever you want to do. But getting an entry on a 4-hour chart for me without having a ridiculously wide stop, it just doesn't bode well with me. Have you got any purpose to buy and hold alts Bitcoin as they are quite at bottoms, in my opinion? So if you've got something with decent invalidation or a theory as to why it's a good coin, go for it. I think we talked about JTO last stream, which, to be honest with you, I didn't buy any of or whatever. But, very, very clean in terms of levels. Like, you buy some down here, great. Do I want to buy some here? Not really. Is it, like, good and in play? Yeah, absolutely. But we're kind of heading into, again, like, quite a pivotal point. Like, in my mind, like, if we're in a bull market and everything's, and your FOMO is justified because this was the bottom, then you're probably going to have another chance to get on, and it's probably going to be there, right? So what you're looking for now, I think, are opportunities for the next leg, and where and what do you want to see before getting into some of them? So like PopCat the other day was, at 150, yeah, there we go. Talked about some divergences across the highs, fairly clean, but in terms of like structure, still good, right? Still parabolic. What's the one I was going to say about Sui? Sui. So Sui's got one of my favorite setups of all time, which is this. So you've got essentially all-time highs. And anyone who's followed me for a period of time will know that one of my favorite setups is this, which is former all-time high retest. It grinds around like a little motherfucker and basically gets cucked by the entire market, and then it does this again, right? And I have no idea why it does this. I'd love to get into the psychology of it all, and it's the future of France, and then people start selling it, and yeah, whatever. I don't know. But this plays out an awful lot. So, bearing in mind that Sui is one of the strongest alts in terms of like it literally led this rally here. It had a really good rally before in terms of like last year. Not the best, but still good. But in terms of relative strength, Let's use this one. You know, it's been one of the better coins. Obviously, memes tend to outperform it, but like, you know, there you go, third best coin on my little, you know, selection of alts, right? And excluding like a liquid dog shit that I could pump with $5 that my nan gives me for, you know, pocket money. Like, this is the kind of thing that if you're going, well, I've got massive FOMO, I need some form of altcoin exposure, what looks good, like, find a reason to get long on this. And I don't just mean find a fucking arbitrary reason. Oh, I was looking at Charlie's stream and he said buy it, so I took his not financial fucking advice and went and market bought my entire, you know, bag, leveraged up to the tits with everything I own. Right? No, that's not what I'm fucking saying. What I'm saying is, you know, even look at this. Like, my little meme lines, right? We've got some consolidation here, we've got demand zone down here. We've reacted reasonably well to it. So how am I going to jump on board on this? Like, conscious that Bitcoin isn't, you know, is kind of teetering around that 67 mark, and that Sui has no relative strength, and well, I don't think it has any relative strength. I'm guessing by the chart. Yeah, it's not really on there, but that's fine, right? We're not. Oh, it's there. It's there. It's not too bad. You know, we don't necessarily want that because most alts are not particularly strong. But what's my trade? What's my trade thesis? What's my entry? What's my rationale? Like, I could probably justify a trade here, to be honest, but it's more of a rotational play in terms of like literally playing a sort of pseudo divergence down on this 30-minute. You know, there's quite a few in terms of like momentum, right? And this would be your kind of invalidation, but it looks pretty counter trend, to be honest. So if I was going to take this, it'd probably be with smaller size, and then I would ape in more size on a reclaim of like 218. So do 50-50. So just start saying, right, well, what do I want to buy? If the market is fucking ripping, where do I want to get exposure? And bearing in mind that we've got all these divergences, yeah, but they're kind of starting to play out in terms of like the weakness and the pullback. Like this is it playing out, yeah. So if it comes back and tags the 50 RSI, and you've got that kind of neutral slant on momentum, and it's consolidating around former all-time highs, I'd be like absolutely, you know, gagging for a classic range breakout. So looking for, you know, this comes in, we get some form of momentum like this. Apologies, I really need to not be a tight cunt and actually dox to YouTube. And look for the play there. Right? Simples. Oh, I can't actually change shit. My like Internet Explorer thing is busted. Wonderful. Oh. I must not FOMO. FOMO is the mind killer. Learn loads from you, mate. Thank you. You're welcome, Yoni. Like, that's what like I'm here to do in these streams, right? I'm hopefully here to give you some, you know, wisdom from all my years of dabbling in this. Some of it's just British garbled shite, right? But some of it I think is hopefully helpful and useful in different ways. My years of dabbling in the crypto space. But yeah, like, this is where you plan. This is where you plan for the next move. Like, you can always be productive. I think that's the thing that people feel the most, actually. It's less FOMO. It's more like, if my assets are invested and they're going up, well, I'm being productive, right? Whereas most of the time, people get themselves into those positions because they've got a plan and they execute on that plan. And it's as simple as that, right? Like, so instead of crying about what could have been, just focus on the next move, because there's always a next move in this market. That's the fucking beautiful thing about crypto. It's why I'm still here, is there's always another move, right? Someone like, I know, how do I put it? Put like $500 into some shitcoin, turned it into, I think it was about 750k, like, bang. It was only a few weeks ago, like, you know, absolutely fucking wild. Like, I think he compounded it and did a couple of bits with it, but I might have even added a little bit. But like, that kind of opportunity doesn't exist anywhere else apart from just buying a lottery ticket, right? There's so much in this market that, yeah, mind blowing. Thoughts on GOAT? AI mean by AI agent to finance himself? 50k donated by Mark Anderson. That's the one that's been going pretty ham on Solana, isn't it? I must admit I've not really paid attention to it, to be honest, but one of my friends has. I'm in the USA and they're making it hard for us to leverage trade. That's why I asked about KYC. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's frowned upon in the UK as well. Not sure if you go with triggers and stops. Do you have some that are your go-to in certain areas you keep an eye on? Yeah. So, like, I mean, if you're... a question for the chat, right? You're playing, like, a range reclaim setup, yeah? Oh, let's do this. So, we're going to do a nice range reclaim, right? We're going to do something like this. Really bullish move, really good. Into a low, into something like this, into a breakout that instantly fails, rejects, and then we do this, and then bang, and we reclaim. Where am I going to put my stop? Where am I wrong? Come on, boys, don't be pussies. When moon, the real question. That's exactly what I asked Doc. We'll be at the low. Yeah. This low, obviously. Because I'm not a fucking pussy and I'm not wrong. I'm not ever wrong. Fuck the market, man. 0. Yeah. 0. That's the even better answer. Fucking 0. Why would I be buying this if I'm not interested in it just going to fucking infinity? This is the future of finance. If that's not every bet that you're taking, I don't know what you're doing. I'm joking, right? Like me. Yeah, I mean, like, typically it's like I tend to try and scale in, right? So it depends. Well, that's actually a lie, but if I'm pretty confident in a bounce because of either the low time frame structure or whatever, I'll ape in pretty quickly with an invalidation like literally under this low. If I'm not, and I've been not, particularly great at trading lately, or the markets have just been a bit choppy or whatever, then I will scale in and I will tend to take like a third here, a third like here, and then maybe a third like just a little bit further along. And sometimes it rips up without me, and sometimes it pulls back and gives me like a better average entry, which then means that my total loss is smaller. But yeah, that's typically you want to see a strong sell-off that almost V reverses, because you want to see evidence of demand in this. So like I've always got mental stops for any kind of scenario that any trade that I want to take. So in this scenario, like up here that we talked about, like where's your stop, where's your invalidation. I mean, if I was trading off a triple divergence and getting it, my thought process is that div plays out into a reclaim, and a reclaim of like these highs here, and that we actually get a good rotation off it. Next stop is resistance, like under here, in terms of the former like range consolidation. Actually, it's probably up here, isn't it? Here and here. As much as people meme it on CT, it's just like level to level, mim AT. And it is genuinely level to level, right? Because you need an invalidation point. You need somewhere where you're going to be potentially wrong, and you have to decide whether this is a scalp or a swing trade. Now, for me, because of where it's at, like I'm happy to swing this. I'm happy to swing this because that was the highs. Retest of former highs is really, really clean in terms of what's it called, like trend continuation. Breakout, retest former highs, and go. Like that's really badly drawn. We'll pretend that I'm an artist and can actually do it properly. But yeah, the retest of those former highs into continuation is pretty Pretty frequent event. All the homies love Pepe. So yeah, the stop placement on there is different, and then if it starts stalling and failing and really loses momentum, I'll probably just give up on it and look for another entry. I think I probably overtrade, if I'm honest with you, in terms of the number of entries that I take, the amount of trades that I cut, and how much I manage my risk. And it's because I like that dual combination of high time frame like levels from validation and check on momentum, and low time frame entry system, like both of those together. I think that's the source. But a lot of other people, my friends like XO, he will use high time frame, 4 hour daily levels. He'll use his 1221 EMA crosser and all of that stuff, and he'll nail the market absolutely fine without any of my like low time frame entries. He's quite happy to buy the first kind of breakout. Probably not on Pepe. I think he bought JTO as an example. First real breakout of this consolidation. Like, look at it, fucking sweet trade. Don't really need much more than that, and that was what. You're holding that for days, weeks, if not months, for it to actually finally play out. But yeah, good. In terms of Pepe itself, I'm pretty bullish on Pepe above this pivot, which I've talked about, like quite a few times, just because I know you're probably holding a big Pepe position. Like for me, this breakout kind of has to be the start of a decent move. We've had lots in terms of. Let's just. Why am I being redacted? It's there. In terms of like the trend, just a consistent series of higher lows. We've finally broken out. A positive market structure still broken out from this high time frame pivot. Yeah, it's decent. Like I like Pepe. I think most memes are good. My only nervousness at the moment with generally like altcoins is like Bitcoin has flipped my big level and it looks to be holding it. Bitcoin dominance is very, very strong. And the best scenario, the genuine best scenario is Bitcoin dominance fucking rips. Alts get annihilated. Bitcoin flushes out of all-time highs and just absolutely runs. And, we get up to something like, 65% dominance or something ridiculous. Like, just absolutely run it. And then Bitcoin stabilizes and alts just go fucking mental. Absolute mental. So, I think a lot of people like view, well, when alts do go down, either because they're overexposed or over leveraged or whatever, that actually that's really bad for the market. But you can see this, this is very clearly telling you Bitcoin dominance is a thing. And I get that there's dispersion around like low cap meme coins. This doesn't take into account like Dogecoin U69 or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. The dream scenario for real? Yeah, and I think if you get opportunities and pullbacks, then great. But I mean, Spaghetti has been wonderful at saying like what else you should be long. And the reason that I like it so much is it unobjectively just says, like, if you look at the last couple of months, like, most of the ones that have led, I talked about PopCap every fucking stream back here. It was tiresome, right? I loaded up the stream, I'd talk about PopCap, all from down here. Like, I just started, like, I wish I was a paid PopCap shill, right? They, what's it? Like, they paid me through their price appreciation, but I didn't get a massive like free bag or anything, which is a bit of a shame because I tweeted about it like a fucking second job. And it's because it had simple structure, simple, nice high time frame structure, nice high time frame levels, good relative strength. I can't really remember what we did when it was like down here. It was like a parabola, wasn't there? Like this. Yeah, and it was just like along that. Like, look at it, it's like up, multiples. Great. Don't think how long did down here. Maybe it was here. I don't know. I can't remember. But I talked about it for fucking ages over the last few months. And the reason that I tend to stick with it is because, when the market sells off massively, the ones that are the fastest to recover will usually stay the fastest to recover. because they've either got mind share, they've got the bid, that's where people want to focus. They're illiquid as fuck and they just run the most. Whatever, I don't care. And that's, I would say, reasonably clear. If you look at Spaghetti, you look at like PopCat back here, right? You look at whatever Mew is, back here. Early shows of strength leads into it. Do we try YouTube Premium for 1 month free of charge, ladies and gents? I think we might do. Do it free because I'm a cheapskate. Former accountant and all that. But no, hopefully that makes sense. You know what's pants is getting the dry UK humour. Yeah, true. Yeah. It's always I was chatting to Magus and Doc the other day, and they said, "Oh, maybe we need to put on a British accent for our stream so we'll sound smarter." I was just like, "Yeah, it's not going to be enough, lads. Sorry." But no, like I mean, PopCat's fantastic in terms of relative strength and even stuff like whiff. I was talking about whiff the other day, and I was talking about this parabola, and that like, if we want to continue, like this is the invalidation that I would be looking at in terms of like these highs, and like look at it. Like if I was paying attention to whiff, which I must admit I wasn't, actually quite a nice short entry in terms of a hedge against the market. And that's generally the way I look at shorts, right? I wouldn't target down there, it's just for dramatic effect. But generally how I look at shorts is like, especially if I've had a really good run personally, if I've had a good run personally and I'm seeing everyone's just piling into highs, and actually, there's a lot of like daily divergences going on, like there's a daily divergence across these highs, yeah? And there's like relative strength weakness, and there's, a parabola break, and you start getting all these reasons to go, well, fuck me, maybe I should just take a directional hedge. It's not me saying that, oh, I've topped the market and it's going to fucking zero, right? It's me going, actually, if the market trades down, then I'm not as good at trading that as I am pure uptrends, right? And if I get blasted on one of these trades, I'll usually make up for it very, very quickly in, if the rotation is good, because I've got the skill set to be able to identify that actually I was wrong, the momentum has shifted against me, and, cut this trade like early, like if it does this and it runs back up, like that's, I'll cut if I can break even, not a problem. Didn't lose anything, maybe some fees, maybe some time, whatever. Flip long on a reversal, bang, happy days, catch the next leg. Probably even it gives me also the kind of focus to stay looking at this chart in case it does range for a little while, sweep, and then do the range reclaim setup that we talked about earlier. How do you choose the alts to operate in a simple day, knowing that EU have a lot of them in spaghetti? So sometimes the alts choose me, it's like the ones choose the wizard. So like Nero earlier today was a really good example actually, and I'll show you that one because it's really fucking simple. So yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm watching the chart this morning. Where is it? Oh, I would have been on like lower time frame than this. Yeah, what do you notice? Like the entire market's starting to fucking sell off and this starts going. So I just clap in a clip or two, which is small because Nero's like a liquid of shit. And then obviously it just runs, and then I dump on everyone's head after I tweet about it. I'm joking. I think I dumped in here, but it was it didn't hold up, so the market started selling off. But like that's one way of doing it, right? The second is when you're on high time frames and you have directional bias and you have a theory about a certain coin, whether it's PopCap because it's been really strong, whether it's WorldCoin, whether it's whatever the fuck it is, when you get that relative strength confirmation, that should be a large part of your trigger process, IMO. What's your high time frame view of Bitcoin, Charlie? I know it was whipsawed today, but what do you think of the stairs up retrace? Yeah, or this stairs up retrace. I mean, that's classic, right? I love it. I mean, I'm long from in here, and it looks like I'm probably going to get stopped out of that soon, and then we're probably going to chop around. Everyone's going to cry. Crypto Twitter will be a fucking cesspit for another week, and then we'll forget about all of that. We'll forget about everyone being wrong and being bearish down here and bullish up here and all that kind of shit, as happens every couple of weeks. We'll do something like this, and then we'll just fucking clap the highs, and then we'll come back down, punish everybody, and then we'll just chop and chop and chop around, and then we'll get some kind of ridiculous breakout. Like, if I had to guess, it's more likely to be just more chop and pain than anything. Good old Fink and the boys. I'm gonna let what's it called? Let it break out without buying a fuck ton of it, I would imagine. Although you would think that, this, if it's accumulation, is a long enough period to do so. I'm optimistic. I'm high time frame bullish, and I did say no bears can join the stream and all that kind of stuff. So if you're bearish, let me know, and I'll perma ban you. I'm joking. Like, I just don't see the point in being bearish here, personally. Like, short, low time frame pullback, yeah, fine, do what you want. But in terms of high time frame, I'm bullish. Thoughts on Super? I don't really have any, mate. Do you mess with SPX 6900 at all, Jelly? No, I do not, my friend. I wish I did. I wish I did when a couple of people told me about it months ago, obviously. But yeah, thoughts on Kai? I mean, Kai's great. Like, Kai's one of the low cap bags that I'm surprised hasn't done as well as I think it should have done. I mean, bear in mind, I loaded back up down here, like the 0.20, so I'm getting ready to dump on all your heads. So, take it with a pinch of salt. I've got a bag and all that kind of shit. But the first run was much more impressive, but it's just not really like gained the attention. Like, this is just a big consolidation. We had a big run up yesterday or whenever it was. I'm a bit disappointed with it, to be honest, in terms of price appreciation, which usually means that it'll pop down, I'll capitulate everything and celebrate my 2-3x, and then it'll run up to like $3 or something. Obviously not financial advice, but it's so illiquid that it a little bit of a move could get it quite excited. But I think alts, very short term, get a bit of a battering anyway. I think you might be able to buy the range loads of this, like down here. Okay, how did you notice that? You have to watch Spaghetti each 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you probably can build an alarm system around it, and yeah, I was watching Spaghetti. I watch Spaghetti on the 1 second chart, mate. It's on one of my monitors every day. Think Order can run hard. Yeah, I think a lot of people expect, myself included, I guess, like STX is one of the kind of on my watch list plays, because this high time frame pivot, I'm not interested in fucking around with it down here. Like, that is one of the cleanest pivots you're ever going to see, in terms of bullish above, bearish below, for me. Like, and if Bitcoin does start breaking out, I think STX goes absolutely wild. Yeah, you can buy the lows down here and try and go for something like this, but in my opinion, like, the most EV bet, plus EV bet, is something up here, right? And like, even now, it's not particularly strong. If there was relative strength on Spaghetti, then I could have been convinced to take this trade, right? But there wasn't compared to other things, so yeah, not for me, not yet. I think you posted Vanry a couple of days ago. Yeah, I mean, I had a very big bag of Vanry. Let's have a look at it. And you're right, I did. And I'm always interested. I always do like the odd engagement bait tweet, to just say like, what would you do with this chart, right? Which one was it? How many fucking Vanrys have I got? Jesus Christ. Just in terms of like momentum. And like, that's not saying I'm gonna buy it right here, right? Like, my point around relative weakness applies to everything, right? My bags or not. Like, this, in terms of level, like, yeah, that might have been the local lows. Like, look at the kind of 3 taps, 1, 2, 3. But I wasn't in a particularly risk-on position at this point. I didn't want to go balls deep. But a reclaim, a break of this, just a simple, like, are we going to break the downtrend? Like, this is the downtrend, this is a consolidation, and then this is hopefully the up move. Like, it looks pretty good for another leg, right? STX, yeah, we just covered STX, mate. Yeah, Near's one of the few coins today that's green, I believe, in terms of alts. Because it's up here somewhere. Yeah, and it's reclaimed at a pretty like nice level. I don't usually fuck with Near too much, to be honest. But like in terms of structure, it's got quite a nice reclaim here to just jump in along and try along up to the highs, right? The only thing that I don't like about Near is my win rate on Near is usually pretty low, so I don't use order flow at all, Finn. I'm a pleb when it comes to that. So Magus teaches order flow in depth in the Paragon, which is a very unsubtle way of me shilling it. If you wanna learn order flow, Magus is genuinely one of the best teachers in the space. As much as it pains me to say it, it doesn't pain me to say it really. He's genuinely like an absolute chad, and a lot of people rip off his content because he understands it so well. And because he articulates himself really clearly, I think, in terms of how he educates. So yeah, sorry mate, I don't really use order flow, but I've coded a lot of indicators around some order flow stuff. As for memes the other day, when I mentioned Moodeng, just 2 hours ago it liquidated every perp trader on Bybit. Let's fucking go. Yeah, get fucked, lads. Sorry, that's shameful joy, isn't it? One of these classic memes that have existed for 2 minutes and then ends up being down only. Kale surprise. But to your point, right, could be a really nice rotation. So I might actually smash that on spaghetti. Because what you'll probably find is, in terms of reversion, there's going to be a reversion play there. But also, when anything is declared dead, it usually rips. Right? Usually absolutely fucking rips. So like playing a range reclaim here, well not really a range reclaim, just a reclaim of the lows, like could be a pretty decent rotation. Again, like this looks like a fucking illiquid dogshit contract. So you are probably one of the only people in the books against the market maker. Just bear that in mind when you're sizing. But yeah, that kind of ridiculous capitulation. It works really well on Nero, not the Nero CTO, the other Nero. What lows do you need to see Tau take before continuation? Tau's a really interesting one in terms of how well it's done. I've not really been paying too much attention to Tau itself. That's a fucking horrible set of divergences, isn't it? Across those highs. Jesus. No Fibonacci tool, please, but look at that. Very clean in terms of like momentum, just saying every move up is painful. I don't know, it's hard as shit. I hate choppy price action like this. Like, why can't I just consolidate a little bit cleaner in like a range instead of doing the whole vertical accumulation thing of like this? I mean, ideally, you just want it to hold. You want it to hold like, you want it to reverse somewhere like this and just keep that bullish market structure going. Like, I find it very hard to get into something like this. Speaking of the dead, look at CRV. It's Halloween coming up. So I guess CRV is coming back to life. Oh man, I remember when fucking so many people were shitting CRV. And it was like, what the fuck? How much do they pay to do that, man? CRV is fucking dog shit. Yeah. How do you prepare and analyze your setups in detail? Would be cool if you could show us some techniques. I mean, this is what I've literally been doing that the whole time, mate. We've literally just talked about what I'm mooning. Like, I don't know. Like, if I wanted to long this, I'm obviously a little bit late, but I'd be looking for it to hold up here somewhere, which is absolutely not. Oh, apologies. On binary, do you use logarithmic chart? Why? No, I don't. What about? Well, it's regular chart, mate. I don't tend to use logarithmic, but if you want to use logarithmic, it does make more sense in like super bullish conditions, but I don't use it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. You know. There we go. My sincere apologies, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Charlie is not particularly wonderful. Like from an experienced trader would be great value, I guess. Hard to find this kind of value actually these days. What do you mean? How do I prepare or analyze stuff? I mean, I've literally been going through that the whole stream, mate. I don't know if you've sort of just joined in, but have we covered King Meme Doge yet? I mean, I can cover Doge, but it's, you know, you're not gonna like the answer, I don't think. I just think there's so many better opportunities, right? Doge will have its day, like every Doge has its day. Ha ha, great bad but joke, etc. But like, this was the trade I took at the start of like last year or whatever it was. Maybe it was down here, I can't remember the fuck it was. But it just looks like a piece of shit, right? I think people's obsession is like, oh, you know, it'll run really hard when it runs. And yeah, maybe if it pops over this level, it's 0.12, whatever. But I can't really see, like, if you want to like long Doge, like for me, I would buy a 10th size position of whatever what was it? This one. And again, this isn't endorsement. I don't have a fucking bag. Yada yada yada. But it's a 16 million market cap coin that's doing 2 million of daily volume, right? Which is pretty decent. Million of liquidity. I'm not sure if it's locked, but whatever. It's a bit dodgy. I'd probably check that out first before aping anything into it. But like this kind of thing, like if Doge runs, this is probably gonna 10x or 20x, like with ease, right? Again, not financial advice, blah blah blah. Low caps. I'm not shilling it. The point I'm trying to make is, why would you go for Dogecoin, which has had millions of cycles, where you could just go with something like this, which hasn't? And if Doge 2x's, this is going to 10x, almost guaranteed, right? So I don't know why you'd be bullish on Doge and not get something like this. Well, so any meme, not just that one, right? Like most new memes are going to be better than Doge. Does that make sense? So I'm just kind of reading the chat. Your you're overcomplicating stuff. How do you fix that behavior? I mean, what are you doing? Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, my trading style is really simple. I look at momentum, I look at divergences, I look at market structure, I look at price action, I look at ranges, I look at RSI and awesome oscillator, but the key thing for me is relative strength, right? If you've got relative strength, the market tends to forgive you for most of your actions. So if you're longing the strongest coin in the market, it's not hard, it's not easy, but it's much, much harder to fuck it up if you are long the strongest asset out there. And also I've been doing this for a long time, right? So yeah, maybe I make it sound easy. It's not easy. I'm not trying to make it sound easy at all. I'm just trying to explain my logic of how I jump into positions and jump out of positions. I get it wrong all the time. I've got probably a 40% win rate. Yeah, sometimes it goes up. Sometimes I've had like 70-80% win rates over like pretty decent periods of times, pretty decent number of trades. Other times it's been as low as like 20%, right? So, you know, it's not super consistent. It's not like every day I wake up and nail the market and come out richer. Like it's not like that at all. So, you know, I'm not trying to sell you a dream. Sell the kidney and go in on that Doge deal. No. I'm not saying that, especially like, you know, you've got a fucking big green candle. My point is that there are much more attractive lower cap lower market cap coins out there, but it's not an endorsement of this or whatever, right? It's just a point. Bad USDT, mate. I mean, I just know this is gonna be fucking bad, alright? What is this? Bad. It's on just like all the trash tier exchanges. Bad idea, AI. I mean, bro. Clues in the name. It's got a fucking 0, mate. Mental. That's my thought process with GMA. If GM stock runs GMH 10x, yeah, 100%. Like, I think that's the exact same conclusion that I came to when you mentioned it earlier, mate. Like, you know, it's one of those, isn't it? In terms of, how do I put it? If there is a trade there, it's a binary bet for me. Like all like low cap memes. Whenever you see me talk about a low cap meme, I've invested exactly the fuck what I want to lose, right? If my risk is $1,000, that's what I've invested. If my risk is $10,000, that's what I've invested, right? Binary bets. Because teams rug, they fucking go to 0, they do whatever all the fucking time. So yeah, it's one of those. And like if you're on GME, I would suggest, not advise, that you know you kind of have that same principle. But then I'm never going to be the guy that goes all in their portfolio on SPX 650, 6900, whatever the fuck it is, and comes out with, you know, a bajillion X and 9 figures from one trade and all that kind of stuff. That's never going to be me, right? I know my risk appetite, and my risk appetite is quite low. Printing on Bongo, cat dev who launched PopCat, nice. Bongo. So this is what I mean, is like I can't keep up with all the memes at the moment, like cute cat, nice. Fucking Jesus. Where were you in my DMs, brother? I'm joking, but fuck me, that's nice. Yeah, like this is, you know, sat down at like 100k market cap for fucking months, and then 25 mil. This is also why kind of don't sell dead bags. Like bang out of nowhere, you're dead $500 or whatever it might have been. It's just now, you know, a kind of decent chunk of change. Do you still journal if you win or lose, or you just crack on? Next question. No, so I do reviews, but I'm a lot more on the fly than I used to be. I used to be so autistic, but like I used to overanalyze and cost myself trades essentially. Cheers, Trash Panda, for the kind words. Okay, look, a carrot. Is that a vegetable? Meh. Looks reasonably illiquid, but it is on Coinbase, so I suppose that's an endorsement. I mean, yeah, anything above here just bullish, but again, I don't want to. It's a gaming coin, I think, if I recall. It looks pretty strong compared to others, but you know, I don't want to trade it. It looks, yeah, very wiki and illiquid. For meme coins, or what market caps, do you think it goes from a microcap to a medium? So I think market caps utter bullshit, because I can launch a coin tomorrow and send it to 100 million market cap if I wanted to, but just by cornering supply and doing whatever. So, you know, it's a bit of a fucking meme, right? But the reality is, from a, how do I put it? From a kind of what's big and what isn't perspective, for me it's more about the daily volume, and the problem is that daily volume can be faked on like Solana and BSC, I think. Or at least it's got to be reasonably cheap in my mind to, you know, buy and sell $100 of it continuously. But who knows? So I think my metric is a little bit, or metrics is a little bit more around the combination of it all, like the locked liquidity, number of holders, which again you can just send $10 of it to loads of wallets. So if you've got 47 million holders and a 1 million market cap coin, you know, they've just fucking faked the shit out of it. Like, it's really difficult to gauge it. It's more about how it moves. Are the moves liquid or not? Like, is it quite sort of steady, or is it really wiki and horrible and getting meved the shit out of because there's just nothing there? Like, also like mind share on like CT, so stuff like Giga. Like, Giga's probably one of my biggest fumbles from the cycle, just in terms of the fact that I didn't take it. Someone messaged it to me super early. I thought it was a great meme because, you know, I use that meme quite a bit. And you know, it was down here somewhere, and you know, clearly it just fucking ran. Yes, you had some brutal fucking moves to survive, but it is one of the best. Like, it's a pretty damn good meme, right? I think, yeah, it was back here in February, I'm pretty sure. It was like proper, you know, at the lows type thing. Yeah, alright, it's selling off now, but you're still up hundreds of X's. So, like, is this a big market cap? Well, it's really as long as it's got the attention, do you know what I mean? It's really difficult to judge when memes top. And, like, there's a lot of people out there who really want to fade memes. I want to be the Chad that shorts the top of them. And I'm like, what the fuck is the point? Like, if you see some good opportunities like Whiff that we discussed earlier, yeah, maybe as a little low time frame hedge against your general trading. But in terms of like anything else, like trying to catch the absolute pico top of memes, which are generally hyper liquid and the strongest assets, you know, in like available in the market, you're probably going to end up having a bad time, aren't you? Let's be honest. Looking at Frog and hopes it sells one more leg. I think they've only got 4 legs, mate. What exchange you buy coins like Doge? It's like Uniswap and stuff, mate. But please don't go and fucking ape in off the basis of like the stream. Like, it's not, like that was not my point at all. It was not my point. Please don't. Zapton app supposed to run, healthy new launch, nice. Big names coming in, happy days. Whiff has got the same tail like divs, yeah, exactly. You're welcome, super puppy boy. Will you be denominating your trades in Bitcoin pairs and parking your trading account in Bitcoin or Sol after a break 70k? Yeah, so I actually parked my entire trading account in, if any of you remember the like quote unquote meme trade I had, which was actually very much a real trade on my part. It was like here, I think, where I said, like, alright, this is fucking journey to all-time highs, fuck you all, straight to infinity. You know, I parked my entire balance in Bitcoin there. But I'm not back there yet. Like, I missed this run. Like, I could have done the range reclaim, / should have done the range reclaim, whatever. Didn't. because I was literally live streaming to the group, which would have been a Chad trade if I'd done it live, right? Just been like, nah, this is the fucking bottom on the 1 minute chart, which is like literally what I said. But didn't case around. On to the next opportunity. But yes, I would want to be denominating in Bitcoin generally for the next leg. I don't tend to trade alt BTC pairs, but if you think about what Spaghetti is a smarter alt BTC pair trader, essentially, isn't it? Because if Bitcoin is running and your alt is running harder, then the alt BTC pair will be strong because it is outperforming BTC. Yeah, so like Nero CTO, for example, if there was a BTC pair there, like Bitcoin is doing fuck all, but Nero is going up. So Nero / BTC will be going up. Yeah, and that is all that this is doing. Comparing it by visual level, these are all outperforming on the Bitcoin pair, these are all underperforming on the Bitcoin pair. So whilst I say I don't use those specific charts, I'm not interested in alt BTC is at the lows. It can be good compliments, and actually XO uses that really well as compliments, and he uses it in a lot of his thought processes. But yeah. I think I'm probably going to call it there. Whew. Didn't realise it was like 25 to 9. We've been absolutely fuming today through all the sauce. It's been spaghetti and sauce today. I actually think I'm hoping that you guys have learned a few things, and we are on our way to Valhalla together, and planned out a couple of decent trades. I think Sui is the one to watch, like genuinely in terms of like next leg. Once we get some form of strength. Like if I was playing the divergence that we talked about earlier, like this would be me out east, right? So I'd take a small loss on this and just fucking cut it and just job done. But yeah, Bitcoin is slurping from alts, so focus on BTC and any BTC proxy plays until that becomes not the meta. Mate, it's been straight pesto today. Is that good? I'm not a chef. Is that... Pesto's not really a sauce, is it? Pesto's more like a condiment. Fuck, I don't know whether I should feel complimented or insulted. I went all into gig pop, carrot, Chad, Charlie. Nice, Mr. Silence. You can DM Magus for refunds, my friend. Thanks for the good stream. Genuinely the most chill and enjoyable stream to watch. Ah, cheers, Khalil. That's really nice to hear, man. Really nice. Yeah, I mean, I try, obviously. I try and give a balanced view. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, fuck me, this is the easiest thing ever, and everything's going to go billion X, and you're all going to be millionaires. In my experience, this is fucking hard work, right? Fucking hard work. One of the hardest things I think you can do mentally, certainly. Pesto's unreal in pasta. It's proper nice. Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, it does make it a bit of a banger. Thanks for streaming what apes to share. I was just asking because I literally just read bad reviews about Uniswap. Oh yeah, I use Uniswap because I'm a boomer. There's probably other things to use these days. There's like sniping bots. Like I use Photon and stuff for Solana shitters, and yeah, if you want someone who's like in the balls deep trenches of low caps, you're probably in the wrong place. I hate the odd meme because largely people who are smarter than me tell me to go fucking buy it. And I don't like ignoring them, and when I do ignore them, it literally rips 100x. But yeah, we'll see. But anyway, thank you all for being here. I will love you and leave you, and yeah, I will see you soon. Au revoir. Oh, like, subscribe, and all that bullshit. Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm at 4,000 subscribers now, which is wild. Wild to think. But anyway, thank you all, and see you next week.